Hello, welcome to the recorded version of the benefits of your benefits with the Teton School District 401. My name is Trevor Dayton, and we're here to talk about maximizing your TSD 401 benefits as a part of your personal and financial retirement plan. We have 4 goals for today's session. The recorded version without questions won't take us quite an hour, but let's go ahead and get started. Our first goal is to gain an understanding of all your TSD 401 benefits. Our second goal is to improve your comprehension of the value of all of these benefits. Our third goal is to learn tools and strategies for life, financial, and retirement planning. And fourth, and perhaps most importantly, is that you leave this presentation with a to-do list to take charge of your financial and retirement planning. Justin isn't joining us today, but Justin is on the TSD 401 Finance Committee. He has 2 children in the school district, and he's the owner of Rock Hill Advisories, a wealth management firm located in Teton Valley. We'd like to thank him for his expertise in both guiding the district and also helping put this presentation together. My name is Trevor Dayton. I'm a mountain guide. I'm an active science teacher at the Jackson Hole Middle School, and I'm a financial coach. Specifically, I'm a financial coach for teachers, mountain guides, firefighters, police officers, like hardworking, middle class, middle income people that go to work every day. I also have written a couple books, including the financial planning book specifically for Idaho teachers. And then I have a financial coaching business called Alpine Advantage Financial Coaching. This won't be very interactive because it's recorded, but please, as we go through this, have a pen and paper or digital, write down any questions you have, and then please reach out to me or us, and we would be happy to help TSD staff. Trevor Dayton at Gmail, or my cell phone number's there, or I can be reached through their website. But we are happy to help, just answer questions and help you put together your own personal financial plan and understand the benefits of being a teacher or employee for the TSD 401. So the basic equation of all financial planning is going to be your income minus your expenses is what's going to be left over. Hopefully this is a positive number for savings and investments. And to define some vocabulary as we go through this presentation, the income would be the total earnings for all your earnings for the year. That would include teaching, that might include coaching, that might include a side job or a summer job, but all of the money you bring in for a year. For financial planning, you can do it on a year basis, or you can divide that out into month. That would be your choice. Expenses is simply all of the things that you have to spend money on: housing, food, transportation, entertainment, medical, all the things that you spend money on in a given year, or again, you can divide it out by month. Savings, we're going to define as money that is needed in the short term, the next 1 to 3 years. Investments would be money that you don't need in the short term, in the 3, even 5 years, that you can invest, and that money can start earning interest and going to work for you and grow over time. Albert Einstein called compounding interest the 8th wonder of the world, and said something to the effect of those that understand it earn it, and those that don't pay it. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. How do you figure out your income? How do you figure out your expenses? Well, one easy way to do this that's a powerful online tool and is a benefit of being a TSD employee and being a PERSI member, Public Employee Service Pension of Idaho, Public Employee PERSI, we'll get there in a second, is Empower Retirement. It's a powerful online software that when you open a PERSI 401k account, it's free. You can create a budget in there. You can track your spending. You can link other accounts. You can develop goals, and you can even start doing comprehensive financial planning and retirement planning in there. So I would highly encourage you to open a Percy 401k account, if for no other reason than get the free access to the Empower Retirement software. Okay, let's talk about income. Hopefully I've gotten your attention with this slide. We all understand, myself as a working teacher, I understand that teachers need to make more money. As a society, we understand that teachers need to make more money. We work hard. We are working every day, teaching children, and deserve more money. Having many conversations with Rebecca and Diane and others on the TSD leadership committees, I fully am confident that TSD is doing their absolute best to find the money to pay teachers as well as they can. So, understanding that teachers deserve more, the pay we do receive right now is incredible for several reasons. One, it is stable and secure. And especially right now, we know that as teachers, we will have a job this year, we will have a job next year, and we will have a job the year after and after and after and after. We also get regular raises, albeit sometimes small ones. We get regular pay increases and raises. And we have clearly defined opportunities to make more money. The pay scale is published. We know exactly what we need to do, whether that's going and getting more college credits for educational advancements, whether we pick up an extra duty contract as an instructional coach, whether we coach a sport or an activity. And these are incredibly valuable. We should all take advantage of these, not only to increase our income this year, but also that increase in income has a powerful compounding factor as we get it during retirement for the rest of our lives. It increases the amount we get on our pensions. Summer is a incredible time after working hard all year. We all know we need time to relax, spend with our families. But we also have a big chunk of time where even if we're working part-time, we can increase our income and earn some extra money. And then because teacher income is predictable, it allows us to use it for long-term financial planning and feel confident in our plan as a result. And lastly, teachers, we all know that our benefits are valuable, but just how valuable these benefits are, I think we're going to see more during this presentation. So the value of these benefits, which can be a quarter or equal to a quarter, 30, 40% of our salary, are incredible. Okay. Expenses, again, the money we pay out in a year, and hopefully that's going for necessary expenses, and that we are able to spend less than we make. One of the key pieces of financial success is we just have to spend less than we make. And a budget is a good way to track that. And again, Empower Retirement is a powerful software tool you have through your Percy 401k. So, good debt versus bad debt. Bad debt would be any high interest rate debt. Specifically, and for most people, this is credit card debt. Credit card debt can be 20, even up to 30% interest. And if we are not paying off our credit cards every month, if we are running credit card debt, that is the eighth wonder of the world, that we are paying to someone else and we are not earning ourselves. Our highest priority would be to pay off our credit card debt. And this affects millions of Americans, but it is truly an emergency to pay off credit card debt. There are great methods to do this. The debt snowball is one, the debt avalanche is another, as a strategy to attack and pay off that debt. Feel free to reach out. I would be happy to go into more detail and help you get a handle on your debt and a plan for paying it off. Okay. Auto personal loans, variable interest rates, or depending on the interest rates, we will pay these off eventually, but we do not want to pay these off at the expense of an emergency fund savings and saving for retirement accounts. So keep them, don't get behind on them, pay them every month, but we're going to start paying them down over time, not attack them with our sole purpose. School loan debt, we'll talk more about here on our next slide. And then mortgage debt, we can consider good debt, assuming that it's a fixed rate, that it's not going to balloon or increase. But with a fixed rate, we know exactly what we're in for the next 30 years. Most of us, or the vast majority of us, to purchase a home, especially in Teton Valley, need to have a mortgage. If you're purchasing a home and your interest rate is 5, 6, 7%, stay tuned and keep your eye on the markets. When mortgage rates drop 1% or more, that's when you want to start thinking about refinancing. Yeah. School debt, many of us as teachers, to be a teacher, we have to go to college. And to go to college in this day and age, it often requires taking on school debt. If you have school debt, there are so many programs right now with so many changes going on that if this isn't familiar to you, I would highly suggest that you learn more about it and re-examine your school debt. The Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, PSLF, allows you to make income-driven repayments. So those payments for your school debt would be based upon your income. And as teachers, our income is low, so those payments get lowered. And then they can be further lowered by things by pre-tax retirement savings or contributing to a health savings account. And then after 10 years of payments, those loans are forgiven, assuming that you are in some sort of public service, of which teaching is one of them. And those balances just go away. This has been in the news a lot. There's a lot happening. If this isn't familiar for you, you don't have a great plan, and you have school debt, then again, I would highly suggest you talking to someone. And studentloanplanning.com is an excellent, reputable site that's up to date. And Travis at studentloanplanning.com is excellent. So check that out. Savings. Again, savings are 1 to 3 years, money we might need in the 1 to 3 year time frame. And a key part of a savings plan is having an emergency fund. An emergency fund would be 3 to 6 months of non-discretionary living expenses to protect when unexpected, but unexpected bills, large events that are going to happen in your life crop up. The car breaks down, you get injured, dishwasher goes out. When you have to pay a bill, that you can come out of an emergency fund and you don't have to dip into savings or go into credit card debt or pull from retirement or investment accounts. Okay, so an emergency fund you want to keep somewhere where you can get to it without penalty, that earns competitive interest, a money market account or a savings account at a reputable bank. Okay. And then when an emergency crops up, because they will crop up, then you spend this money and then go back and work on replenishing it to build it back up. So to determine 3 to 6 months of non-discretionary expenses, you need to know how much money you're spending each month. And that goes back to income, expenses, and budgeting. Okay. To protect our savings that we've worked so hard for, we need to have insurance. And the idea behind insurance is that we are trying to insure against low probability, high consequence events. We are not trying to insure against high probability, low consequence events. So an unlikely event would be a house fire, but that would be very high consequence. That's exactly what we're trying to insure against. We're not trying to insure against a small medical bill that will probably happen every year. So that would be low consequence, high probability. Okay, so health insurance, we definitely need. It's mandatory both because it's required by law, but also because medical debt is the number one cause of bankruptcy in the US. Medical debt is responsible for 2/3 of all bankruptcies in the US. The health insurance through TSD is excellent quality health insurance. I recognize it's expensive, as is all health insurance in the United States right now. But for comparison, if you had two teachers with two children, and those two teachers were on the Idaho health marketplace making about $60,000 a year each, they would get a stipend on the Idaho Health Marketplace of $750 a month, but they would still be paying $1,500 per month for insurance that is not nearly as good in that it has higher deductibles and higher out-of-pocket maximum as TSD 401. So even though we have to pay for TSD 401 insurance, it is much better and much lower cost than if we were in a different job and had to pay for this on the Idaho Health Marketplace. Okay. Another benefit of being a teacher is typically we do not need short term disability insurance. Short term disability insurance is designed to, if you get injured or sick, to kick in after for 30, 60, 90, maybe up to 180 days to cover lost wages. But for teachers with an emergency fund, which we're working towards, and sick days, we have this great benefit of we can save sick days. We typically can skip paying for short-term disability insurance. Okay. Long-term disability insurance is designed to replace income, a percentage of your income, after 90 or 180 days if you have a long-term disability. Okay. There are great options through the district. It comes right out of your paycheck. It's relatively inexpensive. However, as we may not need this as a teacher because after being vested in PERSI, the Public Employee Retirement System of Idaho, I think I got it a little better that time. After 5 years of teaching, you're vested. There is a valuable long-term disability benefit that's built in. But if you your family relies on one income, you have a lot of debt, or it would be catastrophic to lose that salary for a little bit, then you may want to consider some long-term disability insurance. Life insurance, again, is going to be an individual case-by-case decision. You do get $50,000 free from the district. With kids, dependents, a lot of debt, or a one-income family, then more is advisable. Again, we have, after being vested in PERSI after 5 years, there is a valuable death benefit where you get 2 times your contributions that you've put into the PERSI. So don't forget to factor that into the life insurance. How much life insurance you need, the district has an excellent sort of cheat sheet that you can get from Becca that'll walk you through some of the decisions and how to figure out how much life insurance you might need. For most people, 95% of people, term life insurance is the right policy and the right value. That would cover if you were to die, it's low premium and it would cover for 10 or 20 years, a term of time. In general, it is best to avoid whole life and other permanent life insurance policies and annuities as they are expensive. And even though you get paid out when you do die, you would rarely get back the money that you've paid into it. There are whole and life insurance policies through the district, through a new provider, Voya, right now. Again, Becca would have more information on that, and there is a web page linked through the district site where you can get more information on it. Okay. Auto insurance, we're not going to touch on very much, but just worth double checking your auto insurance and making sure that you're comfortable with for the limits there. Homeowners insurance is, again, mandatory if you have a mortgage and you own a home. I can personally attest to how valuable having good homeowners insurance is. As just a few years ago, there was a house fire and I would have lost everything. Well, I guess I did lose everything, but the homeowners insurance policy allowed me to rebuild the home and replace the contents. Renter's insurance is very inexpensive and a great idea if you rent your home. It protects your contents. And then other insurance, such things such as accident or cancer insurance, are generally avoided. You don't need to spend the money on them if you have a good emergency fund, sick days, and quality medical insurance, like we do, as they have high annual fees and limited coverage. Again, the district does have a new provider, Voya, for optional. It will come right out of your paycheck if you choose, but there is optional accident, critical illness, and hospital insurance is available. Okay. Another thing we have to consider to protect our savings is estate planning. These are legal documents that tell your heirs and survivors what to do in case you die or you're incapacitated or can no longer make decisions for yourself. Through TSD 401, there's a district benefit. It's linked through the website. You go to BPA Health, and then there's a financial and legal resource center where you can download free software for that'll guide you through all these steps. Also online is another site called freewill.com. It's reputable, it's easy, it's free. It'll walk you through all the steps to create these documents. It's a valuable 1 to 2 hour exercise where you can sit down with your spouse or partner and have some quick discussions on some of these things for what you or they want in case of death or catastrophe. A couple points is, in addition to a will, you're going to need a financial power of attorney that allows someone to pay the bills if you're incapacitated, and then advanced healthcare directives, which would guide medical professionals and your family in if you were in a coma or incapacitated medically. One additional note is be sure to maintain beneficiaries on assets like your retirement account, your PERSI pensions, because they're not covered under wills, but they go directly to the beneficiary. So make sure you keep those up to date. If you have any life changes, all of these documents, marriage, divorce, children, it's a good time to go back and look at these and update them. Okay. So we've talked about income, we've talked about expenses, we've talked about savings, and we've talked about protecting savings. And now we want to talk about investments. And specifically, we're going to look at this through a lens of sort of retirement investments. One key thing here is that there are many, many, many investments for retirement being made on your behalf. Social Security, you are paying 6.2%, and the district is also paying 6.2% of your salary for Social Security. Medicare, very similar. You're paying 1.45% of your salary, and the district is also paying 1.45%. For your PERSI pension, again, that's Public Employee Retirement System of Idaho, the district's paying 13.5% of your salary, and you're paying just over 8% of your salary. You have other retirement investment accounts available. You have a PERSI 401k, which is optional. You have a 403b, which is optional. And then you also have a traditional or Roth IRA, an individual retirement account, which wouldn't be through the district, but is also an optional account. Okay, just a little bit on Social Security. Idaho teachers still qualify for a full Social Security benefit. This is not true in all states. So this is a great part of being a teacher in Idaho is not only do you qualify for a PERSI pension, but you'll also have Social Security. Social Security is designed to start a full retirement age of about 67, and you can early would be 62 and delayed would be up to 70. Typically, waiting as long as possible is advisable, and it's designed to replace 35 to 40% of your pre-retirement income. So, hypothetically, easy math, if you made $100,000 a year, your Social Security payment would be somewhere between $35,000 and $40,000 a year. Okay. www.ssa.gov is the Social Security Administration's website. logging in periodically and seeing your estimated benefits is key for any sort of planning. Medicare is health insurance that is for age 65 plus. It's considered excellent insurance and very inexpensive compared to the insurance you have right now. And it coincides with the PERSI full retirement age, which is kind of nice. You reach age 65, you retire from PERSI, and you lose your district insurance, but you are qualified for Medicare. Now, if you are planning on retiring before age 65 with either early retirement or the PERSI rule of 90, be sure you have a plan for the expense of health insurance before Medicare, because that time from being in your late 50s up to 65, health insurance is very expensive. So a plan to pay for it. A benefit, and one way you may be able to pay for that, is when you retire from TSD 401, PERSI converts your remaining sick leave balance to a dollar value that can be used to pay medical insurance premiums. So the calculation is the number of unused sick days multiplied by your daily rate divided by 2. So if you had 100 sick days and your daily rate was $300, then you would divide that by 2. So you basically would get paid out 50% for each of those sick days. Again, it's a nice pot of money upon retirement. Those sick days are not wasted. Okay, so let's talk about PERSI a little bit, the Public Employee Retirement System of Idaho. PERSI is what's called a defined benefit plan with guaranteed monthly payments for life. PERSI ranks very high, 7th overall for state teachers' pensions. It's in great shape. It scores well for short-term teachers, which are less than 10 years, medium-term teachers, 10 to 30 years, and long-term teachers for 30 plus years. So whether you teach a little or a long time, PERSI is a valuable benefit. One of the things that make PERSI so valuable is it has a built-in cost of living adjustment. So each year, your PERSI pension won't quite keep up with inflation, but it will increase in value and just not lose everything to inflation. Okay, it is complicated, but there are some resources linked here in this presentation that will help you with it. You're welcome to reach out to me, but you can also reach out to PERSI Direct, and the people that work at PERSI are incredibly knowledgeable, very friendly, and very helpful, and their number's right there. Okay, so here's a summary of the base plan for teachers. You become vested, meaning you qualify for a PERSI pension after 60 months of service credit. As a teacher, you earn 12 service credits a year, even though we're only working for about 10 of those months. So after 5 years of teaching, you are vested, you earn a PERSI pension. You are eligible for full retirement at age 65 or the rule of 90, which would be your age plus years of service. So if I was age 50 and I've been working for 30 years, 50 plus 30 is 80, I would need to work another 5 years to reach that rule of 90. Okay. For each year you work, you earn 2% of your highest average salary. If you work 30 years, then you would get 60% of your highest average salary. If you only work 20 years, you'll get 40% of your highest average salary. So the longer you work, the more your PERSI pension will be. Your highest average salary is calculated upon 42 months of your highest salary. So for most people, this is their last 3.5 years of working. So it's really great to think about your last 3.5 years of working or longer to make sure you're maximizing your income, both by being at the highest step on the pay salary or the salary schedule as you can be, and then also trying to take on a coaching or extra duty contract that will increase not only your salary, but would increase the highest average salary, which your pension will be based upon. So great things about PERSI is Regular cost of living adjustments. You can buy up to 4 years of service credit, which are expensive, but may allow you to reach that rule of 90 and retire earlier. You can retire earlier with a reduced benefit starting at age 55. And it is a really reasonable penalty of 3% per year for the first 5 years. So retiring up to 5 years early may be a fine financial decision. You can get credit for military service, and there is a built-in long-term disability benefit. Okay. Well, some quick retirement planning math. Again, Empower Retirement software will really help with a lot of this, but some quick is for most people in retirement, they need their current spending minus 10 to 30%. So, a good round number would be 80%. If I were making $100,000 a year and spending $100,000 a year, then once I retire, because my expenses go down, I probably need $80,000 a year. Okay, so I have my PERSI benefit and my Social Security benefit, and if I add those two together, minus my estimated retirement spending, that will either give me a surplus, or for most people, it's a shortfall. When we look at a PERSI benefit and Social Security, for most people, there is either a gap in time before those kick in, or even when both of those fully kick in, we might need some more income. And that is where saving and investing for retirement over a long period of time is invaluable. Okay, so here's just a little bit of math. If my current spending was $75,000, then my estimated retirement spending would be $60,000. That's 80%. My Social Security estimate would be $24,000. That's 32% of my current spending or current salary. And my PERSI estimate would be $30,000 based upon 20 years of teaching at 2%, 40% of my salary. So that means I'm short about $6,000 a year, about $500 a month. And I can figure out how much I need in my retirement investments and savings needed by taking that $6,000 and dividing it by 0.04, which equals $150,000. I'm not going to save $150,000 overnight, but this is where compounding interest over time, getting that money to work for us, is really invaluable. Okay. So let's talk just a little bit about the value of a PERSI pension. So the question is, what is the value of the PERSI pension in the last slide? A teacher worked for 20 years, they retired making $75,000 a year, and they receive a pension of $30,000 per year that was equal to 40% of their salary. How much would you have to save to have investments that could pay you $30,000 a year? And the answer is at least $750,000. That is a giant number. So after working 20 years as a teacher in the district, that PERSI pension has a value of somewhere around $750,000. Okay. So people are a little bit scared, nervous with retirement savings, but there is no mystery here. There is a simple recipe that yields success, and that is to choose a low-fee vendor, custodian for your account. And that is either through the school district, a PERSI 401k, which is an excellent low-fee retirement account, or a 403b, which is just a separate type of retirement account with Vanguard. So they have lots of investment objects. They have lots of investment options, and they have target date funds, which is where I simply pick my retirement date. I'm going to retire at age 65. That'll be year 2045, and I just pick the 2045 target date retirement fund. I'm going to invest in a simple low fee fund with less than 0.25% as a fee for having that fund. And a target date fund, like we just mentioned, is set it and forget it. It's a great option. It is really important that we have investment savings automatically withdrawn from your paycheck every month, that you can have them withdrawn pre-tax, and then they will grow pre-tax. And when you use the money after retiring, then you will have to pay the taxes on it. Or you can have it post-tax, also known as Roth contributions, where you pay the taxes on it now, and then it grows. And then when you take the money out, you've already paid the taxes and there are no more taxes. So one key is we are just going to have the money automatically taken out of our paycheck each month into a low fee fund, a target date refund, and then we are just not even going to think about it. When the market goes up and down, or we hear something on the news, or we get nervous because of some political environment, we just don't even worry about it. We just leave it, don't touch it or move it. And then lastly is each year as you get a raise, split those raises with yourself. If you were to get a $1,000 raise, well, increase your retirement contributions by $500 and then pay yourself that $500 and increase your cost or your standard of living by $500. So that you're splitting these raises. Some goes to retirement, some goes to increasing your standard of living. Okay. One caution on 403B is just the IRS designation for a tax advantage retirement account. 401k is a different IRS designation. But 403B accounts have problems where they have these vendors that aren't reputable, have terrible reputations, high fees, and you do not want to get involved in. And if you are involved in, they can be hard to get away from. The district has two different 403B account vendors. And from 403bwise.org, we have American Fidelity down there in the lower right corner, which is a red rated vendor. We do not want an American Fidelity account. And if you do, then we want to try and move away from it. And in the green in the upper left corner is Vanguard. So Vanguard is the excellent choice here for a 403B account. So like I mentioned in the previous slide, Vanguard 403B or a Percy 401k, either are great choices. Okay. So here just demonstrates the power of saving in one of these tax advantage retirement accounts like the Vanguard 403B or the Percy 401k. Well, we got 4 different teachers here. And Joe, if he works 30 years and he saves $0 per year, then of course at the end of 30 years, Joe will still have $0 saved. So if you don't save anything, you won't have anything at the end. Dan, he starts saving $500 a month and he does it for 30 years. And instead of going to Vanguard and doing a target date fund that's low fees, he's got his financial guy. And many people have a financial guy. Financial guys, they have yachts. We don't. And they have yachts because we're paying for it. There's a lot of hidden fees. They can be up to 2%. The good news is after 30 years of $500 a month, he's saved almost $350,000. Okay. Well, Acela took a different strategy, and the one we're recommending here, and that is she saved in a low-fee mutual fund like Vanguard or the Percy 401k, and she saved the same $500 a month for 30 years, but she has $500,000 at the end of it. The fees, the 1-2% that Dan is paying his financial advisor, is a difference of $150,000 over those 30 years. Hence the reason Dan's financial advisor has a yacht and we don't. Okay. Carla, she just started late, but she contributed a very admirable $1,000 a month for 10 years, and she ended up with $163,000. So we can only start as soon as today, But the power of starting early is incredible. So as soon as you can start doing this, the better off we can be. So don't hesitate. Open a 403B or 401k. Have a little bit of money withdrawn out of your paycheck every month, and then increase that slowly over time, and you will be like Isela at the end of 30 years. Okay. So going back a few slides, once you have figured out your retirement saving goals, you can use an online calculator like the one at investor.gov to determine how much you need to take out every month from your paycheck to meet that goal. So in our example, we needed $150,000, and over 30 years, that would equal $150 a month. Or if we only have 10 years before we need that $150,000, then that will equal $1,000 a month. And this savings goal calculator can simply help you figure out how much you need to contribute each month to reach your goal. Okay. Some resources we have, again, the district have some excellent resources. Reach out to Becca or Diane. Here is a QR code and a link to an introduction to financial and retirement planning guide. It's 10 pages of streamlined information. That I've written this, full disclosure. You're welcome to use it. It's free. If you want a little bit more detail, TLDR, it's a very quick, easy read. Financial literacy for employees of Idaho Public Schools. The district has some copies. You can get it on Amazon for $9. Recently, it just went up to $10. But it'll walk you through both financial planning, financial literacy, and specifically how to maximize your PERSI 401. Your PERSI defined benefit plan, your PERSI retirement plan. Okay. So again, before I mentioned, please reach out with any questions. You can email me, you can call, you can reach me through the website. I'm happy to help. I know there's very commonly one question that's already asked at every presentation. This will be a live presentation in the future, so come to the presentations, ask your questions in person too as well. Specific 401, TSD 401 questions, Becca Berry. She can help you set up payroll deductions, and she can help you with your specific questions. But one question I always get is, should I make these retirement savings contributions to my 401k or my 403b pre-tax or post-tax Roth contributions? And it's a great question, but before I answer, I just want to acknowledge that when we're trying to decide which one of these to do, we are already winning. We're talking about saving money and investing for your future, which is a huge win. We're talking that if you have the money to save and invest in your future, that you are living within your means and you're spending less than you make, a huge win. That you have paid down all your debt and you don't have high interest credit card debt, a huge win. And then we're also talking about saving money in a tax advantage account, which is also a huge win. A caveat is we're trying to predict the future, which is hard to do. There's probably not like a real win or lose here. Either one are going to be fine. And both are probably equally good. The things to consider is whether you think your current taxable income versus your future taxable income, whether the federal, which is currently historically low, federal tax rate, and then your future tax rate. If those are equal now when you're contributing the money and later when you're spending the money, then either one is exactly the same. And since it's hard to predict the future, it's hard to decide which to go for. It probably doesn't matter too much. If you think you'll pay less taxes in the future, then pre-tax would be the way to go. If you think you'll pay more taxes in the future, then post-tax is the way to go. So that would be the simple summary there. Less taxes in the future, pre-tax, more tax in the future, post-tax Roth contributions. So hope you enjoyed the presentation. If I can answer any questions, if anything was unclear, my apologies. Feel free to reach out. I'm, again, happy to help TSD 401 employees. So thank you and have a wonderful afternoon, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this.